Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video, I wanted to talk about the Breakneck Pinnacle auto rifle that comes from Gambit. And this is an auto rifle that I want to love. I desperately want to love this gun. I like it a lot. I have fun with it, but I can't help but feel like there's something holding it back. So I guess I was a little confused when I got the weapon because it doesn't explicitly, I don't know, word the perks in a way that makes you understand how they actually work. So, and I even watched an Aztec Ross video after I was combing through my footage of this gun. I was confused. I was like, wait, I've got a stack of Rampage. Why am I doing less damage? That doesn't make sense. And so I started looking through all my gameplay, and sure enough, it was very consistently happening. And then I asked the question on Twitter, like, what's going on? Is this supposed to happen? People were like, yeah, well, check out Aztec Ross's video. He talks about it, and I did, and he breaks down the numbers for you. And I gotta say, I guess I'm a little disappointed, because if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, the Breakneck has this perk called Onslaught, and it's supposed to couple with the first perk on the gun, which is Rampage. Obviously, Rampage, we know Rampage can stack up to 3 times, and it increases the damage output of the firearm incrementally as you gather stacks. Now, Onslaught makes it so that as you have stacks of Rampage, it also increases the rate of fire of the weapon, so it turns into a different archetype essentially. And this sounds like, when I'm reading the perk initially, this sounds to me like Desperado, right? Oh, it's like Desperado on the Redrix's Claymore / Broadsword. You get the precision kill, you reload the weapon, and then you've got Desperado active, and it doesn't change anything about the gun in terms of its damage output. It's still doing the exact same amount of damage per bullet to body and head, but what it does is it increases the rate of fire, so your time to kill overall dramatically decreases down to a 2 burst at the fastest possible rate of fire for a pulse, which is cool. And did it break the game? Absolutely not. Is that gun even popular at all in PvP? Absolutely not. The only people using this thing for the most part are people just trying to knock out the Triumph, not people using it because it's good or highly effective. It's just okay. And I guess I'm a little disappointed that Breakneck, I assumed, would follow suit, but it does not. In fact, you go from doing 18 to the body and 26 to the head when you don't have any stacks of Rampage, to when you get 1 stack of Rampage, you're only doing 16 to the body and 24 to the head. Now, like I said, it does increase the rate of fire, but it seems kind of strange to me that we would reduce the damage and then make you have to sort of re-climb the ladder so that you're actually doing more damage only on the 3rd stack. Once you get to the 3 stacks of Rampage, that's the only time you're actually doing more damage with your bullets, and you get a dramatic increase to rate of fire. Sure, so the overall time to kill, it comes down to, I think it's like 0.54 seconds or something like that. And you hear that stat, you think, well, that's super fast, like that's wicked fast time to kill. One, you're not going to get 3 stacks of Rampage in PvP except maybe once or twice in a sitting of playing a PvP on average. I'm just spitballing here, but I mean, like, I feel like I'm a pretty good player, and I'm not getting 3 stacks of Rampage very often, if ever. And when I do, I'm probably really hurt because I've already had to, take down 3 players, and I'm looking for a 4th person, right, on the battlefield that needs to be close by. And on top of that, Rampage goes away so fast. And so I guess I'm just a little bit disappointed that it's sort of a worse version of Desperado. Yes, the gun is fun. Yes, once you get it spun up, it can start to do some pretty cool things. 2 stacks of Rampage basically doesn't change anything. It just makes it maybe a little bit more forgiving. But it doesn't actually, really change the overall time to kill, the optimal time to kill between 1 stack and 2 stacks. It's only 3 stacks that it turns into some godly firearm, which I understand entirely that is meant for PvE. But I don't think that PvE people would be upset if we said, hey, let's buff this thing so it's even more effective in PvP, right? I mean, you might think, well, hey, let's not make this thing broken. All right, calm down. But we got Luna's Howls out, running around out there. We've got Not Forgottens. We've got Bygones with kill clips and shotguns doing crazy things, and Telestos and Chaperones. I mean, the sandbox is saturated with things that are really powerful. I think that it is a really good thing to introduce other things into that sandbox that would encourage the player to sort of try and make a hard decision about how they're going to play their cards. what weapons they're going to select. And I think that the way that Breakneck currently works, it's still underperforming in relation to those other things that are sort of towards the top of the meta. And when I think of a Pinnacle weapon, man, the Mountaintop was a letdown in terms of a Pinnacle weapon. It's just kind of a goofy thing. It's fun to use, but is it really effective? Well, not necessarily, especially not on console. I want a Pinnacle weapon that's going to be a Pinnacle weapon. It's going to live up to that name. And I think that Breakneck has such great potential to do that. We don't really have any, top tier auto rifles right now, and I think that auto rifles should have a good representation in the sandbox, and have a couple of options, within the AR department that are really solid options. And I think Cerberus is one of those, but I would love to see an actual true auto rifle somewhere represented among the top-ish weapons in PvP. I think Breakneck could be that gun. So, I mean, I think that it would be very fair to say, well, hey, let's say that maybe once you start getting rampage stacks, maybe we say, okay, let's just keep it at the same damage output and increase the rate of fire with 1 stack. But at 2 stacks or something, let's bring that up to like 29 damage for precision damage and 21 to the body. I might even be fine with doing this on the 1st stack of rampage, I don't know, and leaving the 3rd option unchanged as to where it is right now. But basically 29 to the head and 21 to the body, you're looking at 7 hits of precision hits for an optimal elimination. 7 precision hits, 10 to the body. And I think that's totally reasonable with the rate of fire it would be at. The fact that you have to get a kill to tee that up and be, alive enough to have enough health to combat a second player, I think that is very fair. That's a fair expectation. And the thing is, with ARs, you look at the optimal time to kill, and people look at that and they think, well, they're well balanced in the sandbox compared to the other things. But that's simply not the case, because that TTK stat is a little misleading. Because what has to happen for you to get that optimal TTK is very different from what you have to do with the Luna's Howl to get the optimal TTK. With Luna's Howl, you go tap, tap, tap. You've got 3 trigger pulls, and you're pulling them on command when you want that bullet to go. And, you can lose the target anywhere in between those 3 bullets, those 3 trigger pulls. You can lose the target and reacquire it. That's not the case with auto rifles. They can't even be peak shotting. You have to have, unbroken line of sight on that player for the entire duration. Not like hand cannons, where they can be peeking in and out of cover. That doesn't work on auto rifles. You have to have them in your sights the entire duration of the TTK. You have to track them, and you have to land all of those shots across that whole tracking process. You have to be so much more accurate with an auto rifle to get the optimal TTK than you ever have to be with a quote-unquote precision weapon, in my opinion, because of how much more tracking you have to do and how much more accurately you have to do it. So on top of that, you're also trying to hit all of those optimal shots while you have things like flinch in the game, right? Incoming flinch makes it even harder to track players. You got things like shade step making it harder to track players' movements and get consecutive hits. And that is crucial time that Rampage could be going away. You know what I mean? Rampage does not last that long at all. It goes away so fast. Even if with a Rampage spec mod on it, it goes away really, really fast. So I just think that I would love to see the Breakneck be a little bit more effective in PvP. It's not bad in PvP. It's good, but I think that good is not good enough for a quote-unquote Pinnacle weapon. And I think that Breakneck could be the AR, the only AR that finds itself among the cream of the crop in the PvP sandbox. I would just love to see a little bit more diversity up there and force players to make more hard choices about what they're going to choose to use. So let me know what you think about this weapon. Let me know what you think about, where it fits in the sandbox. I'd genuinely be interested in hearing your thoughts. Thanks for watching the video, y'all. I hope to catch you in the Crucible.